Thank you for taking a few minutes to hear about the Willow Domestic Violence Center in Lawrence, Kansas, and our Growing Forward capital campaign. A branch of a willow, if cut from the tree, can be replanted and grow in a new place. We believe this metaphor illustrates what we hope for the survivors that we serve, that they will grow, exhibit resilience, and renew their lives.
Our goal is to provide safety and stability and break the cycle of violence for survivors at all parts of the chain. And in order to do that, we don't just have the shelter, which is an emergency and crisis management system. We also have prevention, education, court advocacy. We offer individual advocacy, one-on-one meetings with survivors, often in public places when possible, or over the phone or over email if they prefer. We offer safety planning for those for whom leaving is not the safest choice. And last year we presented to over 2,000 members of our communities in Jefferson, Franklin, and Douglas County. In addition to our main services based in Lawrence and Douglas County, we also have rural advocates who deal specifically with the rural needs of survivors who might face isolation, who might face a lack of resources in their communities. We're able to reach out to them through those rural advocates and have people who are in the communities with them know what they're going through and understand the challenges that are particular to a rural outlook. We've helped for over 900 services last year. We provided 6,999 nights of safe rest. In essence, though, we have all these services to break the cycle at every point. The key service is shelter. The key service is having that important emergency, immediate place to send someone who cannot stay in their own homes because of danger of being severely beaten or killed by their abuser. We need to be there and we need to have that space available. And if we're not, then that defeats the whole purpose of continuing all the other programs.
Welcome to Restoration House.
Our emergency shelter program is an invaluable asset to survivors of domestic violence and human trafficking fleeing abuse in our community. When a person has to exist in a constant state of fear, it impacts all aspects of their life, and their life becomes about survival. This program provides a safe space for survivors and families so they no longer have to exist in that way.
We've seen people who are able to start new careers, people who are able to change their roles, people who are able to become better parents, become better family members, become better employees because they are free from that abuse that was holding them back.
On average, it takes about 90 days to ensure survivors have enough time in our program to get healthy and be successful in their goals. Our limited capacity is by far our greatest challenge right now. The shelter is always at the maximum capacity, and advocates have to turn away callers desperately calling for help and get into shelter daily.
As we knew that we had to increase our capacity. In 2019, we ran between 70 and 90% capacity at all times in our shelter. And to be the kind of organization we want to be and to continue to provide a space for survivors, we needed to be able to provide more beds, we needed to be able to provide more programs, we needed to be able to provide more accessibility and more safety.
We are currently in our third shelter home and employ more than 30 people to provide more services to more people. In this moment, our shelter, which is over 30 years old, is in some disrepair.
And while it is a wonderful facility, unfortunately it has aged, and a recent break in a pipe meant that the entire basement was completely gutted, and we are going to have to rebuild that in addition to renovations we had already planned for the upstairs room to make them not only more compliant with accessibility needs for our survivors, but also to make them more light and airy. These renovations have also put us at half capacity, which has meant that we have been full since this happened in mid-December. We desperately need more space.
Also, we are in need of greater capacity to serve more survivors. Recently, we went from a 30-day bed stay to a 90-night stay. This means that we can serve fewer people with the beds that we have, but we serve them with greater fidelity and more hope for their futures.
Willow really prides itself on being a leader in the state of Kansas on providing a trauma-informed model of care to the survivors we serve. One way that an agency can be trauma-informed is to create a physical space that is low stress, comfortable, healing, and just really makes survivors want to stay there. And one way that we'd like to create that space is to transform our old and outdated shelter into something clean and modern, and also to do some landscaping to create a therapeutic outdoor environment for survivors to enjoy and heal in.
Research and experience have shown us that a longer stay is necessary for survivors to heal emotionally and to move forward into independence and safety. Because of our limited capacity, we hope to add a second shelter location in the near future, and thus we have started the Growing Forward campaign.
We believe in this campaign. We believe that having this extra step will make a fundamental difference in people changing their lives for the better.
As an agency, the Willow strives to be more trauma-aware and trauma-informed. This means that we're constantly looking at our policies and procedures, trying to recognize unique needs and circumstances, and meet those unique needs and circumstances through equitable services for each individual and family that we come into contact with. One of the policies that we've been looking at recently is our 30-day stay for our emergency shelter. We would like to extend this to a 90-day stay. A 90-day stay for an individual or family in our emergency shelter would allow them that one-on-one intimate time with an advocate to really assess needs and access resources in the community, such as community advocacy, court advocacy, public benefits, and a lot more. With all of these wraparound services, we feel 90 days would allow an individual or family to feel empowered to keep working towards that stability and success that we've all been working so hard at.
We value equity, community, empowerment, support, and education.
And campaigns like this provide us a vehicle to make that change.
Thank you again for taking a few minutes with us.
Together we can make this happen.